Welcome to Blue Sky. My name is Richard Tannery, and I started this program to celebrate innovators, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders. Welcome, Richard Rogers, to Blue Sky program. Good to have you aboard. How are you today?
I'm really good. Really good. Thank you. Excited to be here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Well, from time to time, I like to do an innovator spotlight. The broadcast is dedicated to entrepreneurs, thought leaders, innovators, and you pretty much fit that bill. Uh, I love what you're working with, this technology, and definitely want to talk about that. But let's back up a little bit, and I'd like to just hear a bit about your background. Where do you come from, and what has led you to where we are today?
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I am Richard Rogers. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska in 1970. I'm a third generation Alaskan. So my mom's family came to Alaska in 1905. Family of entrepreneurs themselves. They had dairy farms, hog farms, bowling alleys, laundromats. Even today, some of my relatives own oil field contracting companies, grocery distribution companies, recycling companies, stuff like that. My dad came up here in '69 to work on the pipeline. Like I said, I grew up in Kenai. And when I graduated high school in '88, I went directly to work for a company called Unicow Chemicals. They made ammonia and urea. And there I became an insulator and specialized in, we fabricated removable blankets, custom covers that were for heated applications, cold applications, wet, dry. Being in Alaska, right on the Cook Inlet, the chemical plant was just blasted continually by wind, rain, snow, had a lot of different elements to deal with. And some of the processes had to be kept temperature controlled, within 5-6 degrees, especially instrument air that would run gas reformers, things like that. So we built custom blankets with insulation to keep things warm, cool. Temperature ranges were from 2,700 degrees above all the way down to around 120 below on the ammonia lines.
Wow, that's pretty
So
hazardous work, I'd say, right?
yeah, there was a lot involved in that. We did pumps, we did compressors, gas reformers, ammonia pumps, lube oil coolers, all different types. And the removable blankets were a saving factor, cost saving, because you could take them off and reuse them multiple times. Where a lot of applications, the hard insulation and the metal insulation was a one time. It would be ruined. So we came up with a way to make removable blankets that could be used multiple times, multiple applications.
You Alaskans
also
are a
work.
different breed. I got to hand it to you. After talking
Thank
to,
you.
I had another guest, acquaintance of yours, Graham Denoyer. We,
Uh
we
huh.
we talked a bit about Alaska, and just it's a different kind of human being that lives there. And uh, you mentioned your roots in entrepreneurialism. It seems to be it takes quite the staunch kind of character to survive in that environment, and not just because of the weather and all of that stuff, but it's so remote. It's practically disconnected from the rest of us in the lower 48. And so it seems like you've kind of just learned things on your own. And there's something to be said about the strength of character that I found in Native Alaskans.
Thank you. Um, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Being 18 years old and going into that work in a chemical plant, I learned instead of going to college I went to work in a chemical plant, and thankfully the guys that were my mentors and the older guys, the generation ahead, were easily shared their knowledge, taught us a lot. And it was dangerous work, in the wintertime when it's freezing cold, being stuck inside vessels and tanks. And that place ran 365, 24/7. They did not care what the weather was or the temperature was. That plant needed to run.
Were there ever any serious accidents or?
There were a few incidents and accidents. Me and a fellow worker were literally trapped inside what's called an OSR, and we were changing out the catalyst inside. When the catalyst gets spent or burnt, it's no longer good. You have to empty it out and then refill it, and it's a process. The catalyst is what they call pyrophoric. So if it is introduced to air, oxygen, it will spontaneously combust after time. So the inside is full of nitrogen. We're in full face masks and all that, Tyvek suits. And we were passing stuff in and out the manway, and something got trapped in the manway, stuck in the manhole. And while that was happening, the nitrogen ran out, and it started getting pretty hot inside there. It was about 4 hours we were stuck inside that vessel, and they had to take us straight to the hospital when we did get out.
Wow.
We were both, like, blood pressure was very high. We were dehydrated. Probably the worst headache I've ever had in my life.
Oh man. How long was that recovery?
That was about a week long. They wouldn't let us come to work, but it was painful. Just brain hurt, from blood pressure high, being that dehydrated. They changed the entire process of doing that after that incident.
So you're a precedent setter. That's what you're telling me.
We were, yes. Just incidents. We in the same situation. We were doing catalyst in a different vessel. We were literally wearing helmets that NASA astronauts wear. A group of us went to Houston, learned how to use these helmets. They had supply air, primary, secondary air, emergency air. They even had a harness, so if you passed out, they would literally yank you out the hole, even if it broke bones. They would get you out. But we were inside a similar tank and doing some work, and a lady's helmet broke. Like, the lock broke, and it fell off of her head, and she had to hold it on her face, and she wasn't able to do anything. So we had to we literally lifted her out, pushed her out, got her out the hole while she was holding the helmet on her face so she didn't breathe in nitrogen. So
that's wild.
Fun times in the oil field.
Yeah. Now, what year was that roughly?
I'd say probably 92 was the first incident, and then 94 was the second incident.
Okay. And what prompted you to transition from that line of work into what you're doing today?
Well, I got kind of burnt out on the oil field. The plant I was working in shut down. So I moved out of state. I worked in Texas. I worked in the Gulf of Mexico. Came back to Alaska in 2005-06 and worked on the North Slope as an insulator. And then I did find some work here locally at the Tesoro refinery doing insulation. But this has always been in the back of my mind. It was 2013. I was volunteering for the city of Kenai grooming trails on the golf course. And there was a woman I was talking to in Canada. We were romantically involved, talking back and forth. And when I was grooming trails, I'd call her and show her pictures, and the phone would die really quick, which happens regularly. And she said, "Hey, aren't you an insulator? Shouldn't you fix that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, right. Okay, sure. I will." And funny enough, probably a week or so later, I woke up from a dead sleep, and I made some drawings, and those I still have today. That was where I started. Tundra Electronics was in 2013. Later that year, I quit the oil field because that happened in like February 2013, I got the idea. By November 2013, we were talking about filing a patent, which we did file a patent in 2013. We went for a provisional.
Okay.
I quit working in the oil field, sold my home, and used the money to get a patent. And some of my family and friends from 2014, 15, 16, it was all family and friends helped me pay attorney fees. I still did work. I owned sewing machines, so I still was able to make insulation blankets. Like as a contractor, I didn't have a full-time job. And then 2019, when we were awarded our patent called the battery heating element, that's when we opened up a Delaware C corporation. We got hooked up with a Mercury online banking system, which is connected to the Bookkeeper 360. All of our business runs through that. Anybody that's invested money has a safe document showing they have equity. And really, fortunately, being a third generation Alaskan here in this small community, I've had multiple people just give me money. Like, here's $5,000. Do what you got to do. Not even asking for a safe document or they're just like, this is so cool. This is so neat. I don't really want to invest, but here's some money. Go do what you do. Don't ask me again.
Awesome. Wow.
So, I mean, that's happened more than once. Older gentlemen, my family knew, retired guys. They're like, oh, I'd spend that in a weekend in Vegas. Here, good luck. Go get it. So that's been really validating, because there's been struggles where I feel like, man, is this really going to happen? If you look at the timeline, this is year 10.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually made revenue this year. We had our first sale.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It was to a woman-owned business on the North Slope. They do ground penetrating radar and geothermal survey up on the North Slope. And she used it on a tough pad, and it operated all the way down to 30 below zero. It was functioning. When it hit 30 below, we started to have problems. So she mailed it back to me, and I'm going to put a little upgrade in it for her. Just throw another heater in there.
Let's back up just a second and talk about what is the problem you're solving here. You mentioned handheld device, your phone, and the battery dying in cold weather. What's the science behind what this problem is?
So I sent a short video I stole off National Geographic. Mm-hmm. And I posted that on my Facebook, I think. But so in 2017, I was at home watching a National Geographic video, and a guy trying to film wolverines. He said, watching crows and wolves and animals play was breaking up the monotony of his biggest problem, which is keeping his batteries warm in the cold weather. Mm-hmm. So I rewound it and videotaped it and have used that as fuel. Because working in the oil field, the chemical field, back in 92, we had a ship crash into our loading dock due to the ice. The camera
I'll see
crew
if I can even share this. I might be able to share this real quick. Then you can tell us what we're looking at. I don't know if it'll share the sound, but we can at least get a little visual.
Oh, that's okay.
You can talk me through what you're talking about here.
Oh, yeah, there it is. That's really cool. Yep. Yeah. So, I was just at home watching this special, and the guy saying how the crows and the ravens are playing breaks up his day while he's stuck in that blind. And right there is where he says his batteries freeze. He's got his hoodie over the battery. That's his biggest problem he's describing, that his batteries get cold and freeze up.
Gotcha.
And all the way back to like 92, I think I was saying. In 92, the cornucopia gas or ammonia ship ran into the docks at Unocal. The insurance company couldn't film it or take pictures. So the plant manager of Unocal came to the sewing shop where I work and said, we need this to operate. So in about 3 hours, I built him a camera case. And this is not a lie. They patented that camera case. and it was sold at Best Buy and Circuit City. So it was for an 8mm camera, and that one didn't have a heating system, but you put the camera in the case and you never had to take it out. You could change the tape, you could change the battery, you put your hand inside a sleeve, and then at that time they were just using the hot hand warmers, which everybody uses. We just used that in the camera, and it was probably 32 below zero. They were able to go get the footage in the film, but because I was an employee of the company, they had every right to go get a patent on what I made for them.
So you sent this image. What does this represent?
So this was what we used for the tough pad that went up to a dead horse. So there's a battery and a heating element, and then up on the top where you can't really see, that's where the control board is. The control board tells the battery when to turn the heater on and off. There's dual thermostats in that. And we have PCB boards. The purple one is what is in that particular case. It has a charging port. It shows you when the heater's on, when the unit is on. The little green board behind, that is some we've been using on smaller applications, because all you do is solder the heater and the battery. It has dual thermostat readings in there, temperature settings. So that's a quick, just solder the heater and the battery and go. The purple one is for more industrial heavy duty, if they're going to be banging it around. But we own the files on those and can make changes, like we can, whatever charging port you want. Do you need USB? Do you need C? Do you need an iPhone? Do you want the lights on? This is what the military wants right there.
Okay.
So that was for iPhone 10, but we were making them now for S20s and 22s, and that will only have a heater, battery, and then that little green PCB board. They just want the basics on and off, and then it has the ability to be wireless or magnetically charged, so you can set it on. And then the guys can put their phone in that case, screw it closed, and those cases can be thrown around, ran over, dropped, kicked. They're carbon fiber, pretty tough.
And so the power draw that it takes to energize the heating elements, how does that relate to energy loss in cold weather? So are you trading one for the other, or do you see some gain?
No, we were trying to avoid that. We had a battery specialist help us with the battery we use. And then the whole system is designed to come on before anything comes close to that freezing point. Okay. So let's say 37 degrees, the heater's going to want to come on. The thermostat's going to say, okay, heat it up. Mm-hmm. And then once it gets 50 degrees inside that case, it will shut back off.
Okay.
And so the battery is separate from the device. The battery runs the heater. The heater keeps the battery of the device warm, or the device itself warm enough to operate in those cold temperatures. And we have the two settings because we never want it to overheat.
Mm-hmm. And you said your patent covers any type of battery?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you're
worked
talking
for
handheld.
5 years. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're talking handheld devices. You're talking laptops, computers, automotive, large machinery.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. DeWalt drills, battery. We can make little koozies or small blankets for DeWalt. We can make a bag to keep all the batteries warm. You could keep a bag that is rechargeable. So you plug the bag into the wall and all your batteries are in there while you're working. Drones, we can keep the batteries in drones. We could even make a small blanket as long as it doesn't interfere with any of the servos, any of the, mechanisms that have to move. There's a company that is working a little bit on electric vehicles, but we are working together with this company. Our patents are so close together. They already make military grade equipment. So we're actually buying heaters and batteries through them because it's military grade.
Excellent.
And that's how we're able to work with the 5th Gen Fighter Group here in Alaska.
Okay.
Is the boards that we ordered, those PCB boards, came from a group called PNC on the East Coast, which is a military contracting company. And then the group Caliente has been amazing helping us. They do build heated things for the military already, but not for electronics, for other stuff. So nice fit. We may look at a partnership later down the road if this all works out. But they're helping me. I have 4 prototypes we're building right now for the military with the help of Caliente.
That's great. And the fact that you can express that sort of supply chain resilience in light of what's happening internationally with major chip manufacturers overseas and some of those political implications, to have a supply chain that's already inside the U.S. military is a huge advantage for you.
I agree. A huge company, Caliente is, and they've been nothing but supportive of a small business like us. We're so small, just starting. They've been very supportive and helped us, through some of the loopholes. And like I don't believe we would have got the request to build prototypes if we didn't have their help, because I don't have batteries and heaters that are military grade right now. Everything I do is commercial grade, but if you're putting anything near an F-22, F-35, there's a lot of qualifications, and Caliente is letting us go under their umbrella.
Yeah, that's huge. And now you mentioned you got your first paying customer this year, and that was for was it GPR equipment? Oh, there it is. Yeah, look at that. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, she used it. She loved it. I whipped this out. It looks a little rugged.
Yeah.
But she used it up at 30 below is when it started to really have issues. Like this is where we put that PCB board.
Okay.
So there it's on. The unit's on.
Okay.
But the heater will not come on until it hits a certain temperature.
Okay.
And the heating element and the battery, that's what that one foil shot with the battery, that was in here. So what I'm going to do is put 2 more heaters in it for her, so that she won't have that problem at 30 below again.
Interesting. And you've previously mentioned
she was willing to pay $1,000 for that.
Wait, say that last part again.
She was willing to pay $1,000 for that because her other option was going to cost her more than $1,000 and wasn't going to be as reliable. She still would have had to go in and out of her truck and take batteries in and out of bags and stop work. This one, you can just go.
From my understanding, you're also involved with Alaska Airlines in some sort of pilot program. Is that correct? What's that all about?
Yeah, we got introduced to Alaska Airlines about 18 months ago from another entrepreneur here in Alaska that is actually working with Alaska Airlines. So he got permission to pass my name up to one of the heads of Alaska Airlines. Their Zebra scanner they use out on the tarmac for baggage, for meals, for maintenance, all of those things. It's about a $3,000 handheld computer. So the Zebra scanner has froze up and delayed flights, to the point Alaska Airlines got a ticket or a warning or something from the FAA. So wow. That's how the conversation with Alaska Airlines started. We built them a prototype last year, and they ended up changing scanners, doing an upgrade. So there was a few changes. I made a new prototype and sent it out in January of this year, and should be next week meeting with that same person to find out where we're at, what their thoughts are. It's a solution they got to have, and since we've now had a sale, it's been proven in a commercial setting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that has to increase your total readiness level for
yeah,
government contracting also. So
yeah,
what do you think, whereabouts, what is your TRL right about now? Is it somewhere around 6, 7, maybe
yeah.
beyond that?
Maybe pushing 8.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say.
Cool.
We're so close. It's some of the stuff is very specific, like the heater, the size of the heater, the shape of the heater,
Hmm.
um, or battery size. We like a specific battery very much, but
Hmm.
some applications need a flat battery, some need a thin batteries. So that is some of the cost and some of the depending on the application. The stuff for the military, they have two different things they need, so we're doing two different heaters for them. The heaters we're using for Alaska Airlines in the commercial setting, those are things we can buy much cheaper here in America
Hmm.
at a lower cost to the public because they don't have to have the same credentials as the military requires. So we can make small phone cases, for $250, something that would keep your phone warm if you're skiing at Alaska or Colorado, Aspen, something like that.
Well, it's interesting that the patent covers the broader technology, but then you're able to change the form factor based on whatever the end user's need is. So it seems like boundless opportunity there across multiple industries and multiple types of equipment. That's a heck of a product horizon. So what's your call to action out there? What are you looking for? Are you looking for VC investment? Are you looking for acquisition? Are you just looking for customers? What's the goal?
All three.
Yeah.
Um, we've done a little venture capitaling, trying to fundraise here in Alaska, and the VC market's been real tight. I don't know about the rest of the US, but Alaska, it's been real hard,
It's
and
tightened
they're
up.
very focused on certain things. We would definitely be interested in venture capitalist fundraising for equity, an acquisition. We are definitely open to that. I am the owner and the CEO. There are a couple of people that have very small percentages of the company. But I also was approached by two native corporations this last month.
Yeah.
We're talking with, it's an affiliation with a Fognac, they're Alutic, and then Tionic.
Hmm.
Both of those, we've just had our initial phone calls, but they also do government contracting. Right now, we're definitely in the fundraising mode. We need to get some funds to start building out more of these applications. From the public, we would love to hear what would they personally use a heating system for, what electronic device do they rely on, whether you're a state trooper, fish and wildlife, military, snowboarder, oil and gas worker, somebody that just goes to Antarctica because you can. Um, and I bring that up. We've had people from London, Sweden, the United Kingdom, and people going to Antarctica all reach out for our product because there's nothing like that anywhere else either. These people are going to Antarctica for 3 weeks straight
Hmm.
and needed a way to use their electronics.
Makes total sense. And with a
Yeah,
name,
so I guess we really need investors, or if we get a contract with the military, I'm going to need help. Right now, I'm the only team member full time.
hmm,
So if there's somebody out there that wants to be a mentor or business partner or help us, like you said, the applications are too many to name.
hmm,
And market research says in a couple years, just in America and Canada, this could be $1 billion a year revenue with
absolutely.
with the applications that we have. So, and
Yeah,
we
you
also
can.
have an app that goes with this. If we can use it with an app. It's also in our patent that it can be activated, used. Say you're an airplane pilot, we would build a heated blanket for your airplane, and you fly across the inlet. You leave that blanket on your plane an hour before you get to your plane, you turn on your heated blanket from your phone, which means your motor is warm. You can fire up your plane and go home. Emergency situation, you turn that blanket on and wrap up inside of it.
Yeah.
So just, the applications are so much. I could use some help as far as running the business. That's why I think an acquisition or a venture capitalist would be great for Tundra.
Yeah, I think you're going to need a lot of help, administrative support, manufacturing support, all of that stuff.
Yeah. And our patent is good for 10 more years. It's good for 2034. And I do believe we have options to make changes if we want to put it in pending status once again. But for now, it's good till summer of 2034.
That's great. The company name, Tundra Protected, with Richard Rogers.
The company name is Tundra Electronics Incorporated.
Oh, okay.
Tundra Protected was our website.
Okay.
And it's a launch page because we're not really have a lot of products for sale yet. We just wanted to grab that website. And I know we probably should clarify that, make them both the same, Tundra Protected or Tundra Electronics.
Well, I think you've had your hands full just trying to get this thing started up. So we can give you a little grace on the website.
Thank you.
How can people get in touch with you, Richard?
Richard at tundraprotected.com is my email address. 907-741-0544 is my cell phone. Tundra Electronics Incorporated has a Facebook page, and we are on Google search.
Excellent. I'll put all of that down on the links as well.
So, and this year we hope to start coming out with a few more products. We want to start that the revenue we're looking for would be to build out some more products, maybe hire some people, depending on how it goes with the tribes. If one of those two wanted to get on board, I think that would be a game changer for us because they're also the golden egg of government contracting, native corporations.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Richard, best of luck to you. Thanks for joining me here. I'll definitely put all of that information down on the links so that any interested parties can look you up and get in touch with you.
Excellent. I appreciate it.
All right. You take care.
Yes, sir. You too. You have a great day.
Stay warm.
I will. I will.
All right, man.
Have a good day.
Hey, you too.